Hey folks, Dr. Mosier here, and I have my beautiful wife Ellen with me. And today we want to talk about our new theme this year. And so I'll let you, because you took some of my ideas of what I wanted to portray this year, especially with some new projects happening. So what came to your mind, or how did you come up with our new theme this year?
Well, our theme this year is strong roots and lasting impact. And the reason for that is in April, we've been here in Washington County for 9 years. And, you build your foundation and you gain your roots. And with doing that comes growth. And, with our business this year, we're going to be having growth. Uh, Figuratively and literally.
Mm-hmm.
So, strong roots. We've managed to get a good grounding here in Washington County. And then lasting impact is that not only are we going to ground ourselves here in Washington County, but it's going to last and it's going to make an impact that is hopefully positive on everyone around us and in our community.
Yeah, and I love that. You think about an oak tree where, you see the tree, right? And I was like, wow, that's a massive tree. But if we could see underneath the dirt and look at the roots, it's more vast than the actual tree itself. And I think for us, obviously, you and I are not from here. We are actually high school sweethearts from Bloomington.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
we're transplants.
Yes. However, our boys, all four of them, this is their hometown. This is their community. When they grow up and maybe they'll stay in Washington County, maybe they'll run off to Texas, whatever. Hopefully somewhere warm so we can go visit our grandkids one day down south. But this community, these people, these Washington Countyans, anyway, they are a part of our boys' lives, right? These are strong roots that we're developing. So you alluded to something that's coming up this year, and there's been rumors about us investing into this new building. I mean, like an absurdly big building. Do we need that much space?
Well, it depends. I guess perspective is everything. You could fill it up or you don't have to fill it up.
I guess we could run laps around there.
Yeah, I mean, exercise is good.
Yes. So, okay, let's get the cat out of the bag. Yes, the old Save-A-Lot building, we did make the investment of purchasing it. Why? Why? I mean, we got a nice office on Brick Street. Why are we doing that? Why are we digging deeper and building bigger roots?
My simple answer would be for people.
Okay.
So we're kind of maxed on Market Street. We've got the massages, we've got the decompression therapy that was added here in 2025, which has been a huge success. And we have you and all of your chiropractic adjustments and treatments and things going well. But we've ran out of space for that. So
yeah. So there's a lot more to come. So is it okay if we share just a little bit of our vision for this new building and what we're developing?
Sure.
Perfect. So in this layout of this building, how we're having it designed is on so if let's say you walk in and to the right, there's going to be 6 or 7 massage rooms, right? And that's going to be really cool. And then in the center is kind of my wheelhouse, right? Chiropractic adjusting tables, right? And obviously we don't have any additional docs currently, but there will be room for more docs to serve a larger and larger population of folks, right? Because there's only so many people I can see with my 2 hands. And of course, I'm going to continue to adjust because I love seeing patients. I love what we do for
Mhm.
folks, and seeing people's lives change. I had one little girl, little girl, she's like 15, 16, a young lady, right, who
Mhm.
suffered with panic attacks, and post getting adjusted, she no longer has these panic attacks. So, for me, I think about these lives and how they're dramatically changed. And so this facility will allow for more docs to have that level of impact on people's lives. So that's really cool. Now, before I jump over to Ellen's portion, so in the back, there will be a large area for physical therapy, right? So, like rehab of the spine. And you think about the spine in this manner, we are specialized in correcting the spine. So, we're not just adjust you and you feel better, which is wonderful, right? But
Mhm.
you want to actually correct the spine. And so by utilizing things like decompression with laser, with the vibration plates, endeavor in other modalities to correct the spine, to restore the curve, the lordosis in the neck, correcting scoliosis, that's what we are specializing in, and that's what we are going to be able to provide. So that's really, really cool. Now, the most exciting portion of this new building really is your dream.
Mhm.
And so I'm gonna preface this: we're not advertising it, because we're going through a accreditation process and through the state and all the things. So we can't have any students sign up for the program or anything like that yet. But we're telling you because you are our family and you are a huge part of our lives and our part of our kids' lives. This is something I want to invite you to pray for and have on your hearts, and because this is why we made this investment, because we're developing strong roots and having a lasting impact. And so I want to ask you, and I want you to be open and vulnerable with
Mhm.
us, is what's your dream?
I want to have a massage school.
Okay. So now this school, right? You're not just going to teach some folks and be like, okay, here's a an hour lecture on how to rub your husband's back, right?
Right.
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 No, this is going to be a full-fledged, I believe it was 750 or 800-hour course throughout a year to become a licensed massage therapist. And so there's multiple channels and things that we have, Ellen and I have to go through to the accreditation, getting everything, all our T's and X's and all the I's dotted, right?
Mhm.
Why? We obviously, I know why I'm married to you. Hopefully I know why. We've talked a little bit. But why a massage school? Why a massage academy, to be specific?
um, well, when I was in massage school, I'm a nerd at heart, so, and I'm a perfectionist. So I wanted to become a black scrub, which meant that you got recognized by your teacher, and they would send that to the head of the school for massage, and then you would then be able to wear black scrubs, and that would be someone that could mentor and help other students when they are either struggling or just had a misunderstanding about a concept in the curriculum. And so I got through that and was able to do that. And I would go in early, um, and and basically teach some of these, what to me was simple, but for other students complex. And so being able to guide them, teach them, and that was fulfilling for me to know that, yeah, I get this, but now they get it. And that was important to me, that not only were they better understanding the concept, but they felt good about it.
Yeah. You obviously, everyone that knows you knows that you have tremendous leadership capabilities, and was, frankly, why the office does so well is because of your leadership. And so you naturally gravitate towards leading others and mentoring others. And so that's why I love our theme this year. And actually, let me show you guys this shirt, because you guys need to come by the office and get one of these. Okay. Strong roots, lasting impact. So, with this massage academy, you're developing roots not only in each and every student's life, because our goal, our mission is, one, they need to become licensed. Okay, that's step one, no brainer, right? They need to be phenomenal massage therapists, not just obviously there's other programs, and we're not going to talk bad about other programs or anything like that, but they're just kind of a number, right? They just kind of burn through the program and right, and they're not that good skill wise, right? But then another aspect, and this is part of our mentorship, our leadership that we want to provide these students, and this is what I would want to invite you to pray for us, is mentoring them as far as running their own successful business. Because there's going to be students not just from our local schools in Washington County, right? But the surrounding counties, and there's going to be other students that travel far and wide to get to this school, to get taught by you, Ellen. And we want them to be successful to where then when they go off to another community or wherever, they serve that community to their absolute best potential, because they know how to carry themselves. They know how to market themselves. They know how to, that bedside manner, I think is going to be crucial in their lives.
I think the one thing, because I've got my master's in education, and one of the issues that education across the board has is, and unfortunately it's all regulated, but is you have to teach to the test. Mm-hmm. And then once you graduate, all of that information is then gone, basically out of sight, out of mind. And so then you're struck with real life scenarios. And unfortunately, teachers, schools don't have the time, the capacity to teach what's actually in the real world of that career or profession. And that's one thing that I am happy to pride myself in, is I'm not going to let someone go into their real world of their massage therapy career only based on standards.
Yeah.
Because that's not fair to them. And I would hold myself a little bit higher than a state standard test.
Absolutely. Their success, not only in your school and into your curriculum, your program, but their success in life is a direct reflection of how well you and I, mainly you, but I'll be a guest instructor as well, how we impacted their lives, right? Now the other thing is, who else is impacting their lives? And that's you folks, right? Because one, obviously the students will have coursework. They're also going to have where they practice, right? They have clinical hours, right? Just like any other profession, like me as a chiropractor or as a nurse, right? You have clinical hours. And so they got to get hands on people, right? And people would be you, right? And so you would be giving them feedback. You would give us feedback. You would be directly impacting these lives. I remember when I was a chiro student, right? And I would have patients from the community, and they would be getting treated by me. And you probably had this similar experience. These people would be encouraging, they would be uplifting, because as a student, you're nervous, right? It's like the first time I'm working on somebody, right? Did you ever have those jitters?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so really the big thing is the lasting impact, I think, is you guys are a part of this and a part of this mission, because this is something that's going to be huge for our community. and draw people to our community. And it's going to be a good, honestly, it's a good service for people. The massage really can have a lasting impact on somebody's life. You have asymmetry in musculature that's throwing people's spines off, right? You have a lot of ailments that can be helped with massage.
Mhm.
And so I want to end with this because I find this fascinating because you mentioned that you have your master's in education. So massage therapy was not your like dream goal when you were in high school, right? When we met in high school physics class and I swooped you off your feet.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you don't have to make that face, dear. Our friends are watching.
Yeah, you caught me from hitting the floor.
You wanted to be a teacher, right?
Yeah.
And you went through that process and you even got your master's in education and it was specialized in autism,
Mhm.
right? And you have a passion for these kiddos with autism, well, kiddos and young adults, right?
Yeah.
What describe to me or to us the moment that you discovered massage and its capabilities?
Well, I was working in a group home in
Describe to them what a group home is, just in case people don't know what that is.
basically it's a home where individuals live and are taken care of by caregivers that rotate through the day on shifts, and they have their therapies and things come to the home, or sometimes they'll go on an outing to receive therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy. So they will get visits from family if they're blessed, and others will just stay at the group home. That's just their home.
I just want to interrupt you for a second. So there was actually kids that nobody came and visited?
Yeah. And so the caregivers at times would try to sign them out of the group home like during Christmas, and they would have to get their own home inspected to make sure that it was up to standard and code for them to have that child or individual to their home for Christmas, just so they could experience something that would seem like a normal experience.
That is heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
So describe to us, because kids, young adults with autism, sometimes if their schedule is off kilter, their emotions ramp up and behaviors malfunction. So how did you discover to calm them down?
Well, when you go into the group home, they'll teach you some of the calming techniques.
Okay.
And what I noticed was the trend of pressure. So they had weighted pressure vests, they had weighted blankets, they taught us different holds to hold their hands or to give them a hug, to give them that compression. And there was one individual that I worked with a lot, and they struggled with him a lot. And every time I would start noticing when we were working on, a small task, like putting a puzzle together, he would start getting anxious about that process. And I would just hold his hands and just squeeze them as tight as I could. And it's not hurting him at all. They were strong little boogers.
Mm-hmm.
And he would calm down, and we'd count, and we'd go back to the puzzle, because giving up on the puzzle was not an option. You needed to complete it to learn the coping and to regulate emotions. I think we self-teach that to ourselves as we grow up. And so sometimes having to break that self-taught, reaction to a situation or a scenario comes second nature to us, but we help them work through that. So just seeing this repetitive use of pressure. And so I got to thinking about it. And at the time you were in chiropractic college, and I said, hey, you've got some access to some resources that I don't have access yet, at Hanover College, because that's where I was still at getting my undergraduate degree, and you were into chiropractic college, so you had looked into it for me.
Mhm.
I think you maybe even spoke to a professor about it.
I think so. Yeah.
And they pointed you to massage therapy, because that was my question. Would massage therapy have a positive impact on individuals with autism? And the overall arching answer was yes. But that it was just barely kind of getting researched.
Mm-hmm.
And so the technique of massage therapy that they studied to prove that was craniosacral therapy. And then that's a whole other conversation.
Right. Let's dive into it just a second, is that if that's okay? Because I think they're already with us, and I think they're interested, or at least I can't hear them, so they're not going to tell me no. But craniosacral, right? And so we think about the nervous system for a second, right? Because that pressure is sending signals back to the brain, right?
Mhm.
And so now you think about this, cranial is your skull bone. So you got these little bones in your head that have to move just ever so slightly. What that allows is that cerebral spinal fluid to flow. What the research shows is that there is a lack of flow. They're still flowing, but it's not as fluid as you and I are in that cerebral spinal fluid. And so it creates a lot of toxicity, and it has these negative impacts on these children, right? And so via, obviously we're adjusting the kids, but we're also massaging. And so we've had massive impacts. Now we don't get rid of their diagnosis or anything like that, but we've seen phenomenal changes in these kids' behaviors. Right.
Well, I remember one kiddo they couldn't get them to sleep in their bed, but they weren't sleeping well on the floor. And so after doing some massage with them, and you were adjusting them, they started sleeping on their bed. And it was like, how could that? That doesn't even make sense. Yeah. But knowing that we can get them up off the floor, get them into a bed, how much better they're sleeping. And then you think about the agitation, and the little things start to not bother them so much, because they don't even realize how much sleep they're needing, and good sleep at that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And let's go full circle. So these kiddos need lots of different therapies: occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, all those things. And they have a team. And what we would like to see change is these kids get chiropractic and massage therapy, that be a part of the team as well for these kids. And so this school, this academy, because it will be a massage academy, will be a huge part in our push for that, for these kids, for kids in our community. The numbers continue to rise in autism, but honestly, I mentioned earlier panic attacks. They're happening in kids. Well, there's an issue neurologically, and so because that young lady that I mentioned earlier, she was also receiving massage therapy, right? And so, like I said earlier, I want to invite you guys into this, invite you guys into our lives, into this mission, because honestly, we couldn't do it without you. And my hope and prayer is that this building these roots is not only going to impact others, but it's going to also impact your guys' lives as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.